It feels as though the heat and cold are at war these past few days. The snow we played in melted completely. Then it came back a couple days ago, but so much weaker than before. The grass beneath is squishy, and the soil spits out water with every step. So I'm not really playing in it anymore. Will it stay or will it go? I don't know. But I'm glad I had the chance to act a fool in it with our goofy friends. I was inspired by an artist on social media and his work. I felt like I wasn't alone when I watched some of his videos lately. There's 2 reasons for this. 1, I always felt a little odd that I just never wanted to stick to one form of art or creative expression. 2, I have a habit of painting on anything and wanting to give someone with the evolution of what I've created. I feel like giving anything a new paint job can really change the perspective of that object or space, from something that drains you, even if just subconsciously, to something that fills your heart with overwhelming joy. Plus, knowing you are the only one in the world with that design on that thing makes it all worthwhile.
Look at all the snow, Bambino. My hair. So much snow in my hair. Ay, ay, ay. Always in the butt, huh? Always in the butt?
I've always wanted to make some random videos on here about me finding some crusty objects and giving them a brand new life. Like upcycling, but with some true, genuine heart and soul in it, you know? It would be so cool to do this for others, but I know I would probably need some resources first. If you're an artist, you know that supplies never come cheap. Still, this is an idea that I am keeping for myself someday in the future. I will meet random strangers, learn more about them and their life journey, and gift them with something that was once raggedy to make it look like them. Perhaps my mermaid business could give me a boost to getting there. Currently, I've been networking like crazy, not just in the hopes of finding cool opportunities, but to bring my mermaid magic to life. I've loved traveling in France and Spain and Belgium just to visit wild locations and surprise those that turn up, whether tourists or locals. They had no clue that they would see a mermaid that day, and it always made their day full of laughter and joy and wonder. To me, that's the whole point. My main areas that I'm currently targeting are markets, as I've done several of these before just to sell my handmade journals and sketchbooks. And I loved the fantastical conversations that they would bring. I envisioned setting up my booth full of books that I bonded and mermaid accessories that I'm currently powering through making. Hopefully by then, I will have my mermaid tail ready to go and visitors can come and touch the realistic tail. I even plan on doing some trial and error with my Wild Water Warrior Academy, where visitors can come and learn some weapon training from Anthony and I. I feel that this would be so wonderful for people regardless of age. We also want to take part in events within the community and around Ontario too. Anything from libraries and galleries to hotels and restaurants. As long as I support what they're doing, of course. I feel like it would just be so much fun just to set up our little cove, which, by the way, we are also in the process of producing, and have little and not so little land dwellers visit for mermaid warrior training and photos. Sometimes I get insecure about my ideas though. Sometimes doubt creeps in and gets a hold of my heart. It has me questioning things like, but in this economy, you want to be a mermaid? Or how are you going to have the time to do all of this and manage your health? Sometimes these thoughts scream into my ear. Sometimes they bring me down. And my only line of defense is faith. Faith in what we've learned and faith in what we've practiced up to this point. And hopes that my community and other communities will see the value that I see in bringing aquatic awareness along with mermaid magic to our seasonal events. A few days ago, I had a dream that I was racing a very well-established mermaid from the US. She was in competition, but I was just excited to be there and swim and explore. I was headed to the depths of a stony cove, but when I turned to my right just to see if she was seeing the beauty that I saw, she was so far behind. Something in me hurt for her, and I went to the surface hoping she would too. When she did, she had a look that she was not happy that someone like me could be ahead when she's been in this longer than I. It got me thinking two things. One, I'm definitely not here to compete against other MERS for fame and glory. I just want to have fun with everyone else as long as they're okay that I don't really have a lot to say. And two, I was thinking of a common phrase people would say when I was in university. The old eat their young. This was a very unfortunate phrase that people would say. They had this intention that those with less experience, or those who are just starting out, are not as valuable as those who've been doing it for years. Years of practice equal better quality. For me, this is certainly not my truth. My truth is that it's in the effort, dedication, and determination to the craft. I've met some artists who truly have an eye for what they do. They learn quickly, and they have the time and energy to dedicate most of their hours to it. If it's your time, it's your time. So the saying that I created by the time I graduated was, hey, they won't be going on in this forever. Which, at first, I was insinuating death, but I eventually learned that other life situations happen too. Some that are expected and others that aren't. And sometimes our minds just change. Who will be in the running then? I personally don't have the time to think about competition. Outside of collaborations and personal bests, there isn't much on my mind in regards to my career development. which is why my next step is to receive my Mermaid instructor certificate. The only issue is that the place that I did my certs was in Spain, and now we're in the north of France. Unfortunately, there aren't many places it can be done here. I might end up spending the money just to fly there for a day and get my certificate done, because I also have visions for this spring and summer, and I want to come as close as possible to achieving them. Being able to try mermaiding, that would have been a dream for me as a kid and teen. And so I want to bring the joy and fun to my community back at home. Even if my future students are too old, it doesn't matter to me. If your heart yearns for it, it shall be done. Plus, there are some gorgeous places to swim, but more on that in April. I finally got my supplies and I'm ready to make some mistakes and learn some expensive lessons along the way. Eventually, I will get myself a nice airbrush when I'm back in Frosty Island. Then I will finally experiment my little sketch designs on my real life creations. It is so exciting and makes me so excited. I am full of good anxiety and I cannot wait to show you guys. I really, really cannot wait. I love to paint, and being in classes and hospital appointments and the holidays, it all took me away from it, and I am so ready to start again. Anyways, that's all for me. Thank you all so much for your support, and I will see you again next week. I'm wishing you wonder and room to be yourself in this side of the world. My supplies have finally arrived. Unfortunately, they arrived today, which means I didn't have any time to really film anything because we're also having some family come over before the nighttime, and we also have to go to an event this evening. So that means that I'm going to do this really quickly and wrap it up, and then next week you will see kind of the progress. So I'll show you really quickly once again what I have made out of clay. So this is the sculpture that I made out of clay to make my mermaid top. Since I haven't really fully memorized the process that I need to do, I have to go back over my notes. I wrote everything down, thankfully, for how to actually complete this project. So next week, we'll still do walks and thoughts because I always have thoughts on my walks, but next week you'll also see the process of that mermaid top. Besides that, I've just been resting and taking care of myself these last few days. I've not been doing much, going for walks, hanging out with the kids, whatever, but I've really been taking care of my mind's state because that is the most important thing to me. So it's a very quick video this time around, but you know what? I'm feeling good.
and that's a good thing to be feeling. Anyways, I'm wishing you guys one day in room to be yourself on this side of the world. Adios.